Making me smile. MJG's it here. How good's that? I always love it when that's a friend. It's so good. Um, it's funny, like, um, oh really? Saying live over 29 days. That's strange. That's bizarre. Red Rose is here. Awesome. How you going, Red Rose? Really good to see you. How good's that? Um, I'm smiling. I I thought it was funny because the thumbnail photo for the video, I I wanted to express I was smiling, but I was not in a happy state, so I had to try and smile for the photo. But I wanted to make the photo show like it's for a happy chat, you know? So it's like um, it felt strange trying like like when someone you goes take a photo, everyone smile, and you've it's feels funny to do. Um, because yeah, like with my thumbnail photos I take, I'll be sitting in a pose, or I'll be doing, thinking thinking about things, or trying to express what the stream's meant to be about. And yeah, and um I always smile when we have these chats, and I laugh, and I have a great time, and it's really awesome. So um yeah, usually like when I start the stream, I talk about my week on the Sunday stream, and I've got I've got a bit to talk about. Like this week, I wrote down sort of wins and not necessarily fails, but things that weren't that good. And so um, the wins this week were I wrote three poems, and I'm happy with each poem. Like they all turned out good, and I've started in the last few weeks started making like um, pictures out of the poems, and then I can put them on Instagram and stuff like that. So as a like it looks like it's printed type thing. You know how people do that with poetry. Um, so these are the wins, the good things that happened this week. I wrote the three poems. I mentioned this in the stream yesterday. Sky's here as well. How you going, Sky? Awesome to see you here. Um, in that last stream, I talked about how the other night I just randomly thought, why don't because I printed a small poetry book earlier in the year, and I thought, why don't I just put that on Google Books for like $1? And so I've started a Google Books account, and I've uploaded four things to it. So two short stories and two poetry books, and I've got another one or two small poetry books. Um, Thank you, Sky. Like I'll jump into the chat as I'm chatting. That's awesome. Thank you. And I'm only going to sell them all for $1 each. I thought I can't really sell them cheaper than that. But um, and if you've got an iPhone, you can still have Google Books. You just got to download the app. So um, and um, so so that's really exciting. It's like something. It's a project now. So I'll I've got a whole bunch of um, books that have got poems in it that I haven't typed up yet, so that gives me something to do during the week. Um, Type up the next lot of poems, and so it's exciting to do that, you know. And like I said in that stream yesterday, doesn't matter if I only sell like 10 copies. You know, it's just that I'm happy to do it, you know, and I'm happy to give the stuff away as well. So I don't know, I might do that as well. Offer free ones. Um, but you know, they say put value in things, and like it makes it. You know, I put all my music on the internet, and I never thought about trying to sell it and all that sort of stuff. And I have this problem with that, and it's part of my whole failed artist complex I got, and I've got to work through that. So, you know, I really appreciate the people liking that idea that, you know, this is a positive thing to do. And yeah, so I've got another 2 books worth to make. I've already got written, and then I'll have 6 things on Google Books, you know. So it'll be an achievement that I had no idea I was going to do. Like 2 days ago, I had no idea I was going to do it, except I keep buying all these books, and I keep buying cheap ones and going, oh, that was like I bought that Viktor Frankl one. I mentioned that in the stream, um, and it was $4 or something. And I was like, how awesome is that? He's selling his book for like cheap, so everyone can read it. You know, he's already made his money off it. You know. Um, Another good thing I did this week was I did that mindfulness breathing stream at dawn, which was really cool to do. I haven't watched it with Mum yet, but when I did it, I said, Mum, I'm going to go outside now and do this um, video of me doing the mindfulness breathing, and I said we'll watch it together. We haven't watched it together yet, so that'll be something we do in the next few days, maybe tonight. And that's something that I want to do more of, is sort of I need to practice being able to do it. Not just practicing for myself, but also practice explaining what to do. I went exercising once this week, so that's something I need to do more of. But I at least got once, you know, and and I I did a video of that as well. So, and it was funny. I was watching I was watching the video, and I had the chat going, and I can't respond to it because I'm walking, doing balancing, and there was some people making some rude comments in the chat. Like they were like, "Oh, who's this Teletubby doing? What's he doing?" And I was just like, "Oh, you got to expect people to say that sort of stuff when you." But I don't care. Like, you know, that's why I put the video on there. It's like this. I'm learning how I'm overweight. I've put on 15 kilos in the last year, so I need to exercise. So I'm not. I'm happy to. You know, I'll look back in 6 months or a year and go, "Oh, look how much weight I've lost." You know, so that's a good thing. Um, Sort of going towards the um, failures or negative things. I've recognized my health problems, and that's fitness, because I need to exercise at least 3 times a week, and um, I'll work on that. So I'm going to try and do that this week. I've finally got to the point where I can afford to put fuel in the ute, because I've been paying off the debt from my accident last year, and that was finally paid off today. So that means I can put fuel in the ute. So that's a barrier that gets me from exercising, even though I don't have to drive far. It's the petrol gauge is on empty most of the time, so I'm going to put $50 or $100 of fuel in there, and then that means I've got fuel. In the last couple of weeks, there's been uh, 2 or 3 occasions where I've had painkillers, and I'm not proud of that. Um, they were just old painkillers that were in the drawer, and I um, I'm trying to stay sober, and I haven't taken drugs. I haven't smoked for 6 months, so that's a good thing. But I do feel bad. Like I've been in a lot of emotional pain, and I resorted to doing that to take the edge off. It's the same as drinking alcohol, I guess. But I just want to be open about that because I don't. It's not me to, But there was a few times in the last couple of weeks things got really tough, and I needed to take the edge off. You know, so it's something I've identified. It's not good for me to do, for starters. So that's why I'm talking about it here. You know, to be honest about it. Um, the other, going towards the difficulty side, I did have a couple of. I mean, it seems to be whenever I do these weekly updates, I talk about how, yeah, I end up having a few days of the week where I'm debilitated with the trauma responses, and that happened again this week. So I did have a couple of days of just getting stuck in rumination, um, and it sort of progressed to the point where I did that live stream yesterday, and that's what it was sort of building up to that. I was really angry and upset about all this stuff, and so it when that happens for me, I don't get into this is rumination stuff. It's not like I'm getting flashbacks um, and getting trigger responses or trauma responses like that. This is like a depressive state where I'm just sort of stuck thinking about it over and over. And I got in that state for a while, and it was a few days, and that's why I made that. I thought I'll make it better. I'll do this live stream and talk about negative experiences, and then it kept dropping out, and so I thought I was being censored because I was talking about some heavy topics, and I'll never know if it was censored or not. It could have just been my internet connection, and that's what a lot of people were saying. But to me, it was sort of like made me think. It gave me an opportunity to rethink how I approach that topic, and I still want to actually talk about these experiences, but I'll do it in a very constructive way. Sometime I'll do it again, and I wanted to give people the opportunity to talk about their experiences because it often happens in the chat where people are um, sharing their things that traumatize them within um, certain things to do with treatment and medical systems and things like that. So I think it was a learning experience for me to have the stream cut out. And this is what happened. I spoke for an hour thinking that it was all running live. And so I went through all of this stuff for a whole hour, and I was just like, and then until I realized it wasn't working. And so I lost it. It's not saved, and it's probably a good thing. But what happened afterwards is it really triggered me. Like I was, um, yeah, yeah, yesterday I was getting overwhelming triggers, overwhelming whole body, mind, intense. Just it's hard to describe, and I'm sure you all know what I'm trying to describe here. Very painful. So um, that was like a result of what I'd done. So I'd sort of re-traumatized myself by talking about the stuff, and it had worked in the past where I had let all this information and energy release, and it made would make me feel better in the past, and it didn't this time because it failed. And then I felt bad because I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have been talking about this stuff. Maybe I should have just made it more constructive. So it was a learning experience for me. Um, so what happened is I started the stream again, and then it cut out again as soon as I started talking about the heavy stuff. And then and then I started the stream a third time, and we had an awesome, happy, friendly chat for 2.5 hours or whatever it was. And so that was a learning experience for me to realize, I should be focusing more on the positive, although I should from time to time talk about these heavy topics, and maybe maybe I'll do that in the future, but I'll put content warning or something like that, and maybe it won't get, you know, it was probably just the internet dropped out, but that was a learning experience. But what happened is afterwards I had some chats with some friends, um, which was helped me a lot. It helped me relax. And then I did last night, but um, I did a short breathing stream where I was sitting here with the candles on, and I just was basically doing mindful meditation and then breathing, and then after like 4 minutes, I started just speaking um, affirmations or like wishes for what I want to do, and it felt really good. I felt so calm afterwards, and like intensely calm. Like I was just so tranquil. Um, what's the word? Equanimity or whatever. Um, I'm calm thinking about it. That's how amazingly much it worked. Um, but yeah, it's the the other. I'm almost finished my list, and then I can get on the chat. So, and I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm The other sort of negative thing I didn't do this week is I had a pace going with reading books, and this week it slowed down. So I need to get back onto that. And I think it was just because I had a rough week. So I'm not, I set myself goals to read 2 books a week, and I slowed down. I only read half a book this week. So at least I read half a book, but like it's good to set yourself goals, but then don't be too upset when you don't achieve them, because things are difficult in life, and I look at the things that I did succeed with, and they're awesome. Like putting some poetry books on the internet, and um, I wrote some more poems, and I did that breathing stream the other day, which was really good. I got a lot of good feedback from it. Um, so even though I've slowed down with the reading, you know, it's something that I'm really excited. I'm back reading again. I saw Sky, you redacted your comments, but I didn't get to read them. But that's fair enough. You don't like. But I was about to read it because I did see you had something there, and I wanted to. I took too long, but maybe it's probably a good thing because if you didn't want them to stay there, then and that's something I feel conscious about with the fact that I read out the chat. So you know, hopefully people know that they can always. Um, you know, um, I'm very self-conscious with all this stuff. Hey, I always feel like I'm saying the wrong thing, and you know, so but that's. I'm just going back to the start of the chat. Yeah, and live over 29 days. I see under the video. That's bizarre. There's maybe that's just a glitchy thing with the. But MJG's got the heart, and then Red Rose says, "Yeah, doing great, my friend." MJG says, "Good morning, good morning, good night, good afternoon, all." That's awesome. That's exactly it. It's good. It's evening here, and it's morning, early morning, late night in America, and it's early morning in Europe, lunchtime. How cool is that? We're all in different places, different time zones. Red Rose says, yes, same to you. It's 2:40 a.m. here. I've been baking chocolate chip cookies. Oh, that's awesome. And then, yeah, Sky's here. So Sky says hi. Red Rose says, that's wonderful, Luke. I think that's probably when I was talking about the books. So everyone's saying hello to each other. Red Rose says, hey, Sky. MJG says, hey, Sky. Sky says, hey, Luke, this might be a great resource for you and the other listeners. Thank you. And that's what I read that comment out when you said it, because that was, I think, talking about the poetry stuff. Because I've got the, like, I've got the 18 poems I wrote on doing a live stream, and I've got also a lot of these poems are about hope and like getting through tough times. So I can make a specific book about getting through difficult times. So I appreciate that. And I like the opportunity of actually having a theme like that. So every poem's, and I've got folders in my when I type them up. So I've got like happy, general, and then I've got sad, and I've got grief. So I've got different genres. Um, I like the idea of a poetry book too, having it sort of mixed up as well. It doesn't all have to be the same. They don't all have to be happy or all sad or whatever. So, but it's a project for me. So doing these things in my self care, giving me something to do, because and I can do it. I've got the computer. It doesn't cost me anything. I've already got the stuff written. So now I've got a project that there's no reason why I can't achieve this and keep going with it. So it's pretty awesome, you know. MJG says, yeah, no, nice chocolate chip cookies. Sky says, hi, Red and MJG. Sky says, Tim Fletcher. I is that that's that. I think I've checked out his stuff. But I'll write it down anyway. He's like YouTube. He talks about trauma, doesn't he? I'll check it out. Sky says, I'm going to start the course that he has. Yeah, cool. Yeah, nice. And there's also an Australian place, Sky, and they offer a free course at the moment. It's called the Center of Healing, and they do like they're specialized in trauma healing, and they're really cool. Like they've got like YouTube channel they put regular videos on, but they've got a course which I'm thinking about doing, and I think anyone here can do it. You don't just have to be Australian. It's just that it's an Australian business. Um, they do offer like a full course, which is like $5,000, but they do have all these free courses as well. So check it out, Center for Healing. Um, I might put the link in the chat later. But yeah, I'll look up Tim Fletcher. It might even be the same dude because the name sounds familiar. But I thought it was an American dude. But yeah, so that's something I'm interested in doing this course because they offered it for free. Um, and it's another certificate that can go along with my not only help me but just as some bit of training that I've done. Um, yeah, Sky says I'm going to start the course that he has. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome news to hear that, Sky, because that's what it's all about. Is it's doing these things, doing courses. Like when I did that mindfulness course this year, it really changed my life, and I'm practicing every day, and so it literally has changed my life. And the same thing with doing these courses, in trauma healing, like it's going to change your life, and you're doing the right thing. Um, you're being proactive. It's awesome. I love hearing that. Red Rose says Sky with the hugs. Red Rose says that'll be precious, Luke. Sky says chocolate, cookies, and milk with slam poetry. Yeah, that's it. I can bust some poetry. I read one of my poems in the last stream. I can read one I wrote, one of the three I wrote. This is called Night Walk. I made it this far, just a little further. The storm came over with lightning and thunder. Now a sunset. Oh, sorry. I got to start again. I normally don't mess up with these poems, but the last time I've done it 2 times, I've stuffed them up. This poem's called Night Walk. I made it this far, just a little further. The storm came over with lightning and thunder. Now a sweet smell fills the air. The rocks are slippery. I don't fall over. A light that flashes from afar makes the mountain seem much closer. I make my way further. The rain eases to a murmur. Birds are silent for a bit longer. Twilight is early on the way to summer. I return at dawn, ready for slumber. So there you go. There's some slam poetry with the, and I stuffed it up at the beginning. It's so, and like my writing's pretty messy. That's another thing I need to work on, like my handwriting. I need to, because I can write neatly, and I noticed that, that can be like a sign you're tired or you're in an emotional state. Um, when your handwriting changes, and I noticed that recently a few times, and I was doing the emotion check, body reading, emotion reading, and I was like, I am tired. I am emotionally dysregulated at the moment. And then it's like, yeah, that makes complete sense why I can't write properly. And then that's me writing. So it's like I can write neatly, and even that's messy. I've got to practice it because I used to be able to write nicely. And I know Red Rose, she writes beautifully with her poetry. So that gives me a reason to like it's all about improving yourself somehow. And I love how you're doing this course, Sky. This is awesome. It's really good to hear. And yeah, Sky says chug a milk, munch a cookie, hang out in space to meet a Wookiee. That's it. That's Sky says that's my slam poem. That was awesome. No, that you got some good rhymes there. You should keep going with that. Like, I love that one. Red Rose says Sky with the heart. Your slam poem with the exclamation mark. See that isn't that funny? That rhymed. How good's that? Sky says cheers, Red. Red Rose says, Luke, you're just being open, vulnerable, raw, and real, and we appreciate that so much. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. I know, but I do feel bad for that. Was probably talk when I talked about it when I took a few painkillers. It wasn't like I took massive amounts or anything, but it was just like I needed to take the edge off, and I felt bad afterwards. Certainly won't make a habit of it. You know what I mean? It can be something easily become a habit. Red Rose says Sky with the roses. Sky says, I wrote a poem when I was 10 which describes my CPTSD. If you want, I will write it here. Awesome. I really want to. That's awesome. Yeah, do that, Sky. And the fact that you still have the poem, you remember it, or you wrote it down, that's awesome. And so you wrote it. Isn't that amazing? You're aware of your situation, your trauma at the time. I hope that's not the message that you redacted, because I didn't get to read it. If that's the case, but if you don't feel like sharing it now, um, that's totally fine. But I'd love to see or read your poetry. So Red Rose says, "Yeah, I'll be right back. Need to go to the kitchen and get cookies out. Of course, go get your cookies out of the oven." Awesome. Resonant Reflections is here. How you going, Resonant Reflections? Awesome to see you. It's like I felt bad with that chat. I was talking about this earlier. I felt bad with the last chat, and I was talking about stuff too heavy. So I'm going to think about how I do these streams. I don't want it to be triggering for people, and I don't want YouTube to have problems with what I talk about. So MJG says, you're such a beautiful, pure person. In my eyes, you have taken a very big step. Don't hesitate to. You're doing well and learning. You're doing well and learning from you, Luke. Thanks. Oh, thanks, Luke. Well, I guess thank you so much. That's a empowering comment, and it gives me confidence. But I guess I can be humble in that I am aware of where I make mistakes. So it is okay for people to look at me and go, okay, well, because there's the things that work, and the gradually things get better over time. So doing these streams really helps me, because I literally go through my week and I think about it. What did I do this week? And I even talked about this with Mum. I said, Mum, I'm writing down all the stuff I wrote this week. I did this week, and I'm writing down all the good stuff and all the bad stuff, and how what I need to work on. And she was like, "Oh, that's really good." Thank you so much for that comment, MJG. Sky says hi, Resonant. MJG says hello, R. Sky says it's all good. That's it. I think that might have been when I was talking about the comments and that. But I want to, if it's not too late, I want to read your poem or so. Are you sure's here? How you going? Are you sure? Awesome to see you again. Um, we had a great chat the other day. We got thunder. How cool is that? I wrote this. I just read the poem about the thunder, the lightning and thunder, and we got thunder in the background. It's probably not coming through the thing, but yeah, we got thunder. I'll look up the radar. Um, it's a very you know USGS, I think it is, or in America, but like we in Australia, we got the Bureau of Meteorology, and that's like they have the radars of the radars of the. Here we go. Um, yeah, there's rain coming. There you go. So there's definitely rain coming. It's only going to be a storm though. It's going to. So I love the radar. I usually have it saved as a shortcut, um, and I used to be like get right into it, like storm watching and that. Um, but yeah, the thunder. There's certainly a storm coming across at the moment. Um, but yeah, Are You Sure says hi everyone. That's awesome. Awesome to see you again. MJG says hello. Are you sure says hi MJG. How you doing? Red Rose says okay, I'm back. There you go. You got your cookies, but you don't have cookies for us. Oh no, you might. You can send us some virtual cookies. Red Rose says hey, Resonant Reflections. Resonant Reflection says yeah, you absolutely can do this. Thank you. Totally gives confidence. Red Rose says hey, are you sure? Resonant says yeah, yes, he's very good. Oh, you know, I keep looking at my faults and my failures, so I've got to look at my wins. So hearing comments like that, those comments make me feel like I am on the right track. That gives me confidence that I am progressing. Um, and I'm only it's only like 2 or 3 days of the week I'm sort of debilitated at the moment by the trauma, affecting me for long periods of time. So things are getting better overall. Um, I did notice I was going a bit far with that last stream, and I was getting agitated. So I need to spend more time thinking about my emotional state and my actions. Resonant Reflection says, yes, that course on trauma was amazing. I'm thinking of doing their new course. Awesome. Yeah, that's the Center for Healing. Um, so there's one available at the moment. They're offering for free. So they do have a couple of, but that's the one you said is amazing. So that's awesome. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm looking at doing it. And I did look at doing their full course. Like their full course, if you had money, it would be, and if you're already working in the field, like that would be a serious thing to do. It's just for me way too expensive for me to look at. Um, yeah, Sky